GSX. Do you still have a short position on the company, and are you planning on releasing any new materials or new reports?
So we do still have a short in GSX, and as a result, I've been having conversations with investors recently, of course, because it's a big enough position that they're noticing when it closes up. But this is nothing we haven't seen before. I mean, it looks a little like NQ Mobile back in the day for us. But yeah, we have additional research. We do intend on saying more, but I mean, it's also kind of a strange situation because I don't think the problem is that we failed to convince anybody. I think that the stock is doing what it's doing for technical reasons. And I think that there's, we understand that there's a lot of support through the options markets. You could see that somebody's kind of reliably jamming it into the close most days. Then also it looks like, a brokerage firm that's close with the company pulled a bunch of borrow. Then, of course, what's probably a very friendly brokerage firm in Shanghai put out a strong buy and had a guy named Guy Gentile, blogging about a short squeeze last week. And, Guy is one of the more questionable characters in U.S. markets. So, I mean, somebody seems to be pulling out all the stops here to keep the stock price elevated. But at the end of the day, it's a fake company. And there are two things that can happen with a fake company. One, it can be acquired, or two, it collapses. And especially once the fake company is exposed. And I don't think this thing gets acquired. Back in the early days of China fraud, the China fraud 1.0 days, there were these zeros that were acquired. I mean, Harbin Electric, and I mean, there's a whole list of them. But the amount of money needed to buy those was much less than what would be needed to buy this. And the other thing that's going on here is the political environment in terms of China listings in the US is so much different now. And I feel like this is GSX jumping the shark, because the more the stock ramps, it really starts to look and feel a lot more like a massive middle finger pointed at Washington. And I just don't think that's the smart thing to do in this environment. And if the CSRC is serious about proving that it can regulate these companies, and that the US shouldn't be up in arms about the new securities law that confers exclusive jurisdiction for investigations and discipline upon the CSRC, then the CSRC should start looking into this and frankly cracking some skulls. If they don't do it, it's going to reinforce the perception that a lot of us here in the US have, and that is the CSRC is not intending to be a serious regulator of US listed China companies.